Welcome back, everyone. Another big podcast. It's all about North Melbourne again. They nearly took down the Pigs mob. The Pig's starting to tell us that he's a huge fan. We actually talk about the Pig this week in depth. Best on ground, the duck medal. We break down all of that. We talk about our tips. They're all bloody successful finally. We talk about our locks this week. There's some nervous locks. It'll be very exciting for you guys at home. And we break down what caught our eye and a few stop that's to cafes. You'll tune in. You'll find out what we're talking about. This episode is proudly sponsored by KPI Construction Services. When it comes to construction sites, reliability and efficiency are key. That's where KPI Construction Services shines. With a single call, KPI provides a range of essential services, which includes labour hire, crane hire, and traffic control. KPI is a progressive business with modern plant and equipment across all of their operating states. Focusing on innovation and to avoid the business drifting is always front of mind. We are proud to be aligned with and have such a reputable company partnering with the show. Aces, I know I always go on about the RIXXs, but I got huge news. We have all our styles and colours restocked on the website right now. Get online, grab some sunglasses at rixxeyewear.com.au right now and use our little discount code ACES if you want a 20% discount code on the house.
All right, Tommy, let's get stuck into the podcast, mate.
Welcome back, everyone. Another episode of Aces Premiership Countdown. It's great to see the Pig. The boys are up and about. We went bang, bang, bang. The 12-week challenge is back. It feels good to get the tick. I had to wait till Sunday. You were early, but after last week's punishment, mate, the stakes are high now. I don't care what anyone says. $1.30. It ain't that. It ain't. You think it's easy, but when you're drinking all that puke stuff that he's putting in the blender, and you think, well, that's got to go up a level. I was very nervous just watching my mob Freo play Gold Coast, where they still won pretty easily, but Gold Coast, they were coming late.
Yeah, mine. Welcome back, by the way, mate, and well done to Brado actually, because that Puch video of the juice, it came up well. I got a lot of positive comments about it. A lot of people hit me up saying that was funny. So I enjoyed seeing you drink it or try to drink it. But just on that, yeah, it is. I'm feeling the pressure now. Like I thought Rosie was a lock, and in the end, like he had 18 or 19 at half time, so it was a bit stress free. And then I'm watching Riv with intent, and he started off real well. So it was a little bit stress free in terms of it, but leading into it, I'm stressing. I don't want to stuff up because I know the benchmark now is I'm in deep shit if I stuff up this 12-week challenge, but we are off, and we've got a tick, and hopefully we can keep getting the ticks. We've got about 189 in the kitty. We took a little bit more juice, which is good. We love juice.
It depends what juice it is. If it's any of that muck that you were putting in that shake, that off shaker as well. What about the Puch shake you brought in? It was mouldy, I reckon, when I spotted it.
I pulled it out of the back of the cupboard. That was just a little bit of flavour for you, a little bit of extra flavour.
Speaking out of the back of the cupboard, you were pulling performances out of your ass on the weekend. I'm hearing some strong performances and seeing them. So I want to ask you, before we get into our own performance on the pod last week and a few things that were very funny, I thought the Bill Belichick clip come up a cracker. And again, Brado, that actually, it's rare that you laugh at your own material, but I found that clip very, very humorous, and I really enjoyed watching our own work there.
How funny is watching someone else laugh? I don't care if it's me or you or whatever. I just, every time, like hearing someone or watching someone laugh just makes me laugh.
You caught me off guard when you reversed the roles and you go, what do you reckon she's thinking? It was very funny. Anyway, before we talk about this week's stuff, your performances, so you've had 44 a couple of weeks ago. You kept that very quiet, and everyone here at Aces Premiership Countdown knows you've had a sore hamstring, and then I'm seeing videos being sent in that Wayne Carey was presenting you the duck medal on the weekend. So can you give everyone an insight of what's happened?
Well, firstly, I'm not wrapped about talking about my performances, but on the weekend there was Port Colts 25-year premiership reunion, big day for the club, sponsors day. So I was trying to get down as many people as we can. Had Kevin Sheedy do a pre-match speech to the boys in the rooms.
How was that?
It actually, because I've known Sheeds for a long time, and he can ramble a bit, and He actually did well before the game. We had a bit of a sporty later, and I'll go into that in a sec. But he did ramble a bit in the back at the back end of the day after maybe 5 hours on the white wine. But yeah, and Duck was down there and he presented a medal for who he thought was best on, and I got the votes, I guess. So yeah, we were down against the mob that hasn't won a game, and we pulled it out of our arse in the last quarter and got the win.
What did you win by?
I think we won by about 8 goals in the end.
So
but we kicked like maybe the last 8 goals though, or maybe even the last 11 goals.
I saw the pig kick one. There's a bit of footage of you kicking one.
You kicked 3, but that's it.
How many did you have? Because you had 44 the other week. So I mean, I don't know.
I don't know the stats yet, but yeah, I had a little bit of it.
We will know because they're releasing them, which is good. It's pretty cool how they record the stats. They have a
stat for everything. It's like champion data. Go through the footage, and they count your turnovers and your intercept marks, and like that's AFL kind of level stuff. But it was a great day down there. Had a good turnout, and obviously the Duck medal, and we had a panel, and me, Sheeds, Carey, and Tommy Bellchambers. I was a bit embarrassed to sit on the same panel as Sheeds and Carey, but it was a good laugh. Sheeds kind of ran it. He went a little bit rogue at times.
Give us some rogue stuff. Well, you don't need to get into the detail.
He would ask us a question, and then we'd be trying to answer it, and then it would remind him of something that happened to him 10 years ago, and he'd start talking about that. You're like, I'm only halfway through my story, and you cut me off, big fella. Mick Martin was down there. This is funny, man.
Mick Martin, was it?
Mick Martin. Yeah,
Martin. I can't get over. If anyone wants to go to Backchat, Will Schofield's got his podcast, and listen to the clip of David King when he goes, hey, knock. Have you seen that video? Does he talk like that or what?
No, well, he was blind. He was he was just sitting there like this all day. He has his lean back and he's got this big gut. He can stand up and put a beer in his gut. Well, anyway, he was absolutely tanked, and they gave him the mic, and I was like, this could go and this could be nothing here. I don't know what he's going to say, but he goes, I'm a 4-time premiership player. Not many people know this about me, but I'm 5-time voted AFL sexiest man. And he goes, he's looked around the room. He goes, I can tell all the blokes are in the room are going, get stuffed. And he goes, I'm looking around at the women, they're going, it should have been 6. And the room erupted. And I've pissed myself laughing because, he's not traditionally handsome.
Yeah.
And he said that. But it was a good day, a good few laughs, and he's a good man, Mick, so I enjoyed seeing him. But you could tell he was on the piss very early in the piece.
That's great.
So a good weekend for the Port Colts.
What did the Duck? I saw the Duck get on stage and said, look, there's Norm Smith, and then there's the Duck medal, and this is right up there. So what was it? What did he have to say? Any other pearlers? Well, he's been off the scene for a while, the Duck.
Yeah, pretty much that stuff. But he said, we've tried to find every way not to give this bloke the medal because we're not sure the ribbon will fit around his neck.
That's good.
Because of the size of my head. Maisie's dripped that into him before he got up on stage. Unfortunately, that got a laugh by a lot of people. But he was good. He always speaks well, has good stories, great storyteller, the Duck. I don't know if you've ever spent time with him one-on-one, but he gets into it. He tells stories, and you can picture yourself being there. He's that good at telling a story. So good weekend. Enjoyed it. It was a Sunday game, so it was a lot of people dusty on Monday on the way to work, but not working at the moment, so it was good for me.
Just reminded me of a funny story. When I was getting drafted, you know how you pick your manager, or you go through the management process if you're lucky enough, and I had Paul Connors and I had McConville, Max Sports, and I remember getting dropped off by Dad to Max Sports like nice and early, and I was there and Macca wasn't there. He must have been, because I was early, he was coming from another meeting.
Yep.
But his personal assistant said, why don't you just head down into his office? He'll be there soon. So I went in there, and anyway, there's this big, bloke, tanned. He's on the computer and he's facing like the other way, and I just sat in the room, and he goes, g'day, mate, Duck. And it was Wayne Carey like booking flights for something. He must have just been popping in prior because he was managed by him. And I remember I'm only 17 at the time, and the Duck was flying, so I remember meeting him there. But
funny, he just introduces himself as the Duck too. It's never Wayne.
It's good stuff.
Good
very good,
mate.
What you up to, mate? No, I've got nothing. The past players for the Giants is in 2 weeks, so that'll be a bit. We spoke about not sending it when you don't need to. I'm a bit like that at the moment. I'm trying to get back to a bit of a health kick. I'm not going to do dry July. I'm going to do like a challenge of fitness. I'm still working through what it is. I'll put it out on the internet if anyone wants to join.
I'll try joining.
But
I'd say try.
I'm looking at trying to burn a certain amount of calories a day.
Each day.
The number at the moment is, I've got a gym that comes up with the calorie count when you're using the machines.
Yeah, okay.
So I'm thinking about, well, when you use Strava, it also calculates like a rough estimate of calories as well. Yeah. I'm thinking about doing something like that instead of going dry July, because when you put boundaries on yourself, you just go a little bit mad. I'd rather have a target for fitness.
I like it.
And you know when you got a target for fitness or whatever, you're probably not going to go out in the piss
I'll
as much.
join you in this.
Okay.
So let's see.
Let's do it. Well, I'm thinking 1,000 calories a day.
Yeah, 1,000 a day. That's
pretty hard.
It's hard. It's gettable though. You know, you're
walking after dinner. Yeah, you can get 100 or 200 if you do it in the morning, and then a good hard run or a bike ride or whatever.
Yeah, it's hard. It's like if you're in the office as well, a little bit more. You're on the laptop. You know, if you're out in the trade, doing a trade, you're on your feet, you're moving around.
I'm just thinking about, it's actually good we're talking about it. A lot of people out there, I don't know about you, but it's getting colder, your motivation levels are dropping a little bit. I reckon having a target where we're all in it together, it'd be pretty good. So anyway, I'll come back to that because what is it today? It's the 25th as we're recording this, and we must let everyone know we're recording this early because you let them know why.
Yeah, so it's Tuesday. I usually do it on a Wednesday night, but sad news. Bernie Vince, great mate of mine, his father Tim passed away last week, and one of the great men. So I'm going to Adelaide tomorrow morning for the funeral out at Stansbury. So it's all the Vince family, Serena and Bern, we're all thinking of you, and extended family. Looking forward to seeing you all tomorrow. It's heartbreaking. He was one of the great blokes of the Melbourne Football Club. Everyone knew who Tim was, and he'd be sorely missed. And I'm looking forward to seeing everyone tomorrow.
Yeah, well said, mate. And yeah, just to repeat what you said, I actually mentioned it to my old man while I'm recording because I had to go do something with him this morning, and he met him when he was at Adelaide because Jack Tarley was good mates with him, and I think Freo played Adelaide one day and had a few beers, and he was, you got to be kidding, mate. He's a cracking bloke.
One of the best.
Yeah,
one of the funniest blokes, loves a beer, always has a story to tell. We used to, he's so funny. He used to always add that little bit of mayo onto a story just to get a laugh out of you.
Oh, you got to add a little bit.
Telling you a story, if you don't give him a good enough laugh, he'd just make up that someone broke their leg in between the story or something like that. He's a great man, and it's been sad. It's been an emotional week for me, let alone the Vince family. So I've been thinking about you guys a lot. So can't wait to see you tomorrow.
Well said, mate. And like we said, our thoughts go out to the whole Vince family. Well, let's crack on to some footy recap from last week. There's a fair bit to get through, and I really liked our previews as well. I listened back to them, and they were pretty solid. I thought like some of the gems we put on, like, I don't know, I looked at the Carlton game. I think I said Cripps. I said Jezza Cameron, and then Carlton to win. If you actually just extended all those markets, I think Cripps had 40, Jezza 3, and Carlton by 70 or whatever it was. So that is juice. But I reckon there's something there for the punters listening. So if you're listening to us, they're probably a better bet than us cooking them up, because sometimes we struggle to put them together.
I think I nearly hit 50. I got stringing for 3 goals. Five had a shot at $4.
Yeah.
And missed.
And played forward late. Like he was there
Hawkins
deep.
Got subbed out. Newman, I think, hit. Joey Dano definitely hit. He kicked 3. That was $3.15.
Logan Morris hit.
Horn Francis, I think, got subbed out, or he was injured, or
he didn't have a massive day. But what's his name? But as I said,
Tommy Green didn't get our goal. We were talking about
Giants were it was a bit of a weird game, that one.
But I've got a couple today, and we'll blitz through the games again and just give our little tips, and hopefully people follow and make some cash.
Love it. Well, let's talk about some news. So Tommy Lynch from Richmond, the great man, is down again. It's hamstring, we're hearing.
Is he the most injury-prone, unlucky bloke in the AFL at the moment? He has to be.
Oh, it's sad.
Every time he comes back, he gets injured. Like, good bloke.
Do you reckon he come back early just for Dusty potentially, or not? Do you reckon it's just a freak incident?
Well, it's a hammy. So you'd think with, it's not something. I don't think he was injured from his hammy. It was his foot last time.
No, his foot. Yeah.
You'd think. I think
it's a hypothetical, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. So no, you just assume that he's fit. The medical staffs now are so good at making sure you're ready to go. He's just copping a lot of injuries at the moment, and we're hoping he gets back, because it's good for the Richmond Footy Club when he's up and about, and good for the game when you see the big power key forwards at their best. So
100%.
All the best to
hopefully you're back, Tommy boy. Obviously the Tigers need you. Now let's just dive into North v the D's. So North Melbourne v Melbourne. I mean, you could just add North to your name. I mean, I reckon North Melbourne are going better than Melbourne, even though they lost.
They are.
I was like, this is, I mean, you know what? You have done something special on this podcast. You've brought a lot of noise to North Melbourne and to yourself, I reckon. And it's been so entertaining for me. I think everyone that loves this podcast would be watching them games. And the last 3 weeks, I've never been more excited to watch North Melbourne. And I reckon even you would be never feeling these emotions watching another game because they're literally coming down to the last 5 seconds.
Mate, it's I'm starting to become a fan. Like after I feel like there needs to be a bit more credit put on me. After we posted that video, they have played the 3 of the best games in the last couple of years. Like they obviously got the win. I got a fair whack from that. I got the merch sent my way, and then they've gone down by a kick and could have easily won both against Collingwood and Melbourne, who team everyone's backing them to make finals. I'm not too convinced on Melbourne at the moment. Obviously, I was selling I was eating it all, eating everything they were selling early in the year, but I'm a bit worried. They're losing all the stats that have made them a good club. You know, centre bounce, clearance, contested ball. It's what they've just made. You know, they're one-wood over the last few years, and they're 15th, 16th, 17th or something in the comp at the moment. So I'm not too convinced on them anymore, but I'm starting to be a bit of a believer with North. Like, you won't hear me. I think they'll win some games after what they've dished up the last 3 weeks. I don't know I haven't looked at their fixture for the rest of the year, but I'd be very surprised if they don't just snag 1 or 2 now. So I'm eating my words, and I'm going back on what I'm saying, and I'm a bit of a believer.
It takes a man to do that.
Yeah.
And you are a man, and a man of the people as well. I'm hearing that you're getting you're getting heckled by the punters. When I say heckled, it's all positive, but not only the North fans, but the Puch fans. You should be trademarking this because I'm seeing videos being sent around of you addressing blokes' putrid performances. Is that what's happening on the streets?
Well, there's a couple I had a kick in on the weekend, and they're just like, oh, this is going to be Puch. And then I was having, I kick. It was a good kick, mind you, but the bloke dropped it and someone's like, that's Puch. It's just Puch is coming out. And then at the aftermatch, I had to do a few videos telling their mates they're Puch. And one of them asked me how I come up with it. And me and Jake Melksham used to just say it all the time. So it's starting to stick because people are starting to yell it out to me like mid kick and mid game. You know, a few other little barbs coming my way. You know, there's what's the saying? There's a bit of a veranda over the bonnet or something like that. I was like, oh, Jesus Christ, over man. I know I'm carrying a few, but not that many. But
easy target.
The Puch is definitely grabbing.
I saw a funny one on the internet the other day. It was like, number 34, I'd hate to know what your power bill is. You sleep with the light on. And I go, that is outstanding.
That's great.
Have you ever heard that?
Never.
I'd hate to know what your power bill is, 34, and then he paused, because you sleep with a light on. I thought, well, there's nothing better than the local footballer sledges, because I don't reckon you get them in AFL. Like, I haven't heard that stuff.
Well, you can't hear them.
Nah, I know, but you don't get that at training, you know. Like, I would say it to my mates having a set shot, but you don't really.
That's a good one.
Once you're disconnected from the local communities and these funny blokes that are saying this stuff, it's hilarious.
Oh, some of the blokes on the boundary line are just, you can tell they're different types, and they come up with some pearlers. So I'm gonna use that one. Hopefully it's out there now.
Oh, well, I was gonna bring this up. We might as well quickly touch on it. But our man Maisie, he's copped a little fine. I think it's about 1,200 or 1,800 or whatever it is. But the sling tackle, he's got slung to the ground and his head didn't hit the ground, but then he's exaggerated. Is he a WWE fan?
Oh, no, I don't think so.
Because he might be. I reckon.
Everyone was growing up.
Exactly right. And he's sold the kitchen sink and hits the head on the ground. Now, we need to stamp that out of the game because of the seriousness. But, he's milked the free kick and it's been a bit of a talking point.
Yeah, I've seen a little bit of the talk about it. Watching it live, obviously, because I was going from Melbourne for many reasons, but I was like, oh, that's so smart. That was my initial thought. But then I'm like, oh, you know, they are trying to stamp the staging came out for fining for that a couple of years ago, obviously the head thing. But some of the talk about, oh, he shouldn't have done it because of, you know, Angus Brayshaw, as if in the heat of the battle, Maisie's trying to win the ball back, and you get pushed in the back, you over exaggerate it, you throw the arm up for the high tackles. Maisie's thinking I've been they've slung me a little bit
arms
here,
pinned as well.
Arms pinned. He's just going to hold his head and try to hopefully get a free kick. They need the ball. They need to win the game. So, is anyone thinking that's disrespectful because of Angus Brayshaw? Angus and Maisie are the best of mates. That's absolute horse shit. So. I just think in the heat of the battle, he was like, I need to win the ball back here. And when you're out in the footy field, I think half the people with these opinions haven't even stepped out in the footy field and know how hard it is to actually think about anything else but apart from playing the game. So, I think Maisie, if he had his time again, he probably wouldn't have held his head because it's copped his wallet and he loves the dollar, the big fella. But, it's... He's copped a fine. I'm glad it's only a little fine like that, but hopefully going forward there's not too much more of it. But I don't think there was anything else than trying to win the game for the boys. And in the end, as you said, I think it was a big part of it.
Yeah, well, it could have been an inside 50 entry, which could have been a goal. Just on that, not just Maisie, he's getting a bit of the attention this week because it was it was over the top and on replay slowed down. It was quite, exaggerated the movement, but the umpire couldn't see. But I reckon I've seen all year blokes actually diving into the turf.
100%.
All year. And even I don't know about you, but I'm watching, and I think umpires are doing this better, but I also struggle to know if it's holding the ball. Blokes are throwing their body forward for the whole, and you get pushed in the back. So if you're running down some bloke, they'll just collapse at the knees. Yeah. And then the body kind of goes on, you can kind of grab their body and slide them into the ground, but your body goes to the next to them. And it is a genuine 50-50. Is it in the back or not? I reckon players are doing this way more than you think.
And I watched the Dangerfield one on the weekend, and I'm glad it just sprung to my mind now. I thought he did everything in his power to hold him up. He was nearly holding him up in the end. He hit his head, and I think he got reported. I was like, do you know how hard it is? Your momentum's going forward. I felt like he was holding him up. It's on the bloke getting tackled sometimes to keep a strong neck, keep your head up, make sure no one wants to get hit their head on the ground. So it's kind of, if you're getting tackled, you need to try to be strong.
But you know that you can hit your head on the ground and it does not hurt when it's a little, I'm talking a little bit, but on replay, it looks like you've smashed your head into the ground. So it's, I don't know, I just thought I'd bring it up because our game is becoming very difficult. When you go overseas and you try to explain our game to someone, it's getting harder to understand what holding the ball is for me. And I'm not hating on anyone, but this week they didn't call it, right? Yeah. Last week they did. The last 2-3 weeks, it was red hot. It was holding the ball. Now it's ball up, or it's letting it go and everyone's looking around. These are the things they need to be rocking firm on. And we're getting to the back end of the year. They'd want to nail it before finals.
I just hate that they're stamping people out for a week or two off something that we've been doing our whole lives and ingrained in doing. So, it's a hard one to adjudicate. And, I don't like it so much, but I understand why they're doing it with the head trauma stuff.
Well, let's get straight into it. Play on or out of bounds. We love this segment. Big Bill Belichick. We'll give him another pump up last week because it's play on. Have you seen the photos of him? He's been everywhere. I think he's been spotted on date to be doing his head in the big fella. But the 24-year-old gorgeous girl under his arm. It's been a funny. It was very good last week by you and us breaking it down. This week, it's all about Hawk Tour, all right? I know I'm not going to get into it, but she is everywhere on the internet, and I've got a play on her out of bounds. We're not going to get into it. We're going to play it straight back here, but play on her out of bounds. Should she create a social media presence and a name for herself and monetize what she has now done and everyone finds hilarious on the internet, or stay anonymous and not come out of the woodwork? Well, even though she might be signing hats now as the rumour.
Yeah, I saw a video actually earlier today of her signing hats, and I'm like, hold on, if you're doing that, and I'm saying play on, it's already out there, you may as well cash in now. It's out there. It's not going anywhere ever again. It's been one of the biggest memes, I reckon, of this year. I don't think there's anything bigger.
Like my DMs, I just cannot. And
I did say I didn't want to talk about it. So there's too much. I've got a wife and 2 daughters, so it's but it is going bananas. So I'm not going to go into it any further than, but it's out there, and she needs to cash in.
Yeah. So cash in and. Yeah, cash in. I 100% think cash in. And there's people trying to cash in. There's a lot of people making accounts, pretending to be her. I think now we're at the point when we're talking about this as, where's a Tuesday Arvo as we're recording this, but by the time I reckon this comes out, she's starting to kind of, as I said, drip feed some stuff. But it was getting a bit creepy there as well. There were people like on the hunt trying to find out her name, where she lives. You know what I mean? It was it was actually like a bit scary.
Yeah, mate. The internet's some of the people out there on the computers now. I don't know. Have you seen those docos like "Don't fuck with cats"? And have you seen that?
Nah.
Oh, mate. So anyway, anyone that's seen it, they know what I'm talking about. But they're freaks. They can hunt people down like over the smallest things. So yeah, leave her alone. Like if she wants to stay anonymous, leave her alone. But if I was her, it's already out there. It's I'd be cashing in.
Yeah. No, and I think there was one girl that was getting named and shamed, and it wasn't her. You know what I mean? It's crazy what this internet's done.
Yeah, and also I dare say a lot of our followers know exactly what we're talking about.
Oh, they do. That's why we were like, do we bring it up? I go, man, everyone knows about it. We'll bring it up. Tell you who doesn't know. I said, I was with my old bear this morning. He didn't know what I was talking about, so I showed him, and he goes, what's all this? I go, mate, you'll be flooded with it now that's on you in your algorithm.
Yeah, well, my missus had no idea, and she's like, well, that just says a bit more about your algorithm than mine. And I was like, yeah, okay.
The Port Retro jersey, before I want to go back a little bit, but how good is it? Like, do you reckon that's one of the coolest jerseys going around?
It's what I like the West Coast sold one.
I thought North Melbourne's on the weekend.
North Melbourne's is good. Port's is sick.
Wouldn't you bring that back?
You'd think so. Everyone loves it.
I reckon.
What do you reckon? Why do they bring them out? It's a bit of a cash grab.
Yeah, a little bit, but I reckon if you bring that back and run it, and it's got all new players now, and everyone's got a different number. Like if you think of who was number 5 or 20 or whatever back in the day, they might not be big stars. I don't know. I'm just thinking that's why you get a new logo. I remember when I went.
Picture Warren Treadray in the retro one. Like,
unreal. Even like Cassisi and even like Kane Corns. Like you can kind of picture those blokes in it. Yep. But the reason it'd be different is the sponsors. I remember when I bagged for Essendon, the 3 Mobile would change the colour of the 3. So I always wanted the new
orange.
Orange, pink, red. Just always
Carlton orange.
They always change the colour. So as a young kid, I always wanted to get the next one. Yeah, so that's what they do. Little tweaks like that. All right, mate. Let's get into our tipping segment. How'd you tip last week?
Oh, it's 6 from 6. So I don't know if I got the bonus point.
Some leagues have bonus points. We don't in Aces. Depends on how many you're in. Now, let's go to the leaderboard. I don't know why, but, man, I reckon mine's glitching because it tipped the Giants, and I swear I said Sydney, and I was tipping Sydney, but I said I'll be watching with intent. Anyway, our leaderboard, as I open up the Ausmerican Aces tipping competition, it is still Gone Without a Trace, and then Caitlin 1 behind on 91. So Gone Without a Trace has been up the front for 4 weeks now.
Yep.
And there's J Boyd 37 and Paddy Wow 2 in 3rd and 4th on 90. So we're still looking pretty nice up there. Might be time to start getting onto some more jerseys from Man U as well.
We've taken a little bit of a week off, but we'll start putting the feelers out.
We have. Now let's go to a couple of questions before we get into this week's games and lock in. Mind you, there's a bit of stress here. We're locking in our locks on a Tuesday as we record this. I hope there's there better not be any changes. Like last week when King was out, we could have got more odds if we didn't wait so long, but King was out and I think the odds dropped. But Freo about $1.70 before that. And I just said, I'm going with them again, just backing them in at home. Anyway, let's go to some questions here we've got on Spotify. Thank you to everyone that has written in. There's probably, I had to put a little thing up on social media, but it isn't a clip. But I think after last week's pod, Big, do we deserve a few more questions?
I would have thought so, yeah. It was a perler.
Righto. Boys, going off today's episode, back in 2011, I put a Facebook status up saying Facebook is begging to be like MySpace. It's pooch. So our man Joey Cullen reckons he kind of had the word pooch back in 2011. Which is just a random one. Putrid. But here we go. There's Hibbo, stop hiding your local footy stats. This is from Joshy Bell. You've been tearing it up. Now, what's the best sledge you've copped so far at local level?
Yeah, well, I spoke about it before, but the bloke pretty much telling me I've got a bit of a belly. What's the saying? You got a veranda over the bonnet, or what is it? Something like that. I don't know. I knew where he was going with it anyway. Yeah. I copped that on the weekend. So I haven't copped. They've been pretty respectful of the pig this year, so I've been very grateful of the Southern Football League looking after me.
Here we go. Chrissy0509. How about passing Maisie's fine on to the umpires? Maisie was only holding his head because he was dizzy that he got spun around 8 times before they blew the whistle. Umpiring has been pooch. Not bad there.
This is nearly, the questions are nearly a pooch segment.
It's almost statements, our questions that are rolling
I love
through.
This is good. All right, one more. What do we got? James Fenton, 23. Just following up on Trelaw, the stat I look for most for mids and forwards is score involvements. Trelaw is sitting third in the AFL behind none other than the 2 Brownlow medal favourites, Bont and Heaney. That is a great stat, and I agree. I think when you look at mids, like Track was always a really good score involvement player. All the best players, the ones that are up there in the Brownlow, they've got all Australians. They're always the ones that are getting their team scores and goals. So, well done, James. Great stat there, mate. I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, and well done, guys that wrote in and just told us how they felt. I didn't really read a question. There's 10 in there this week and no questions, just statements.
That's all right.
Oh, anyway, Pig, very good. Love seeing everyone's questions and even statements. But yeah, as I said, get them in nice and early. If you listen to our podcast as it comes out, just write them in as you're listening to, because we love it. On Spotify only, because it puts it in one spot. But we are loving your support, guys. And there's a few names that we continually write in, and they might be rewarded later in the year. Who knows? We've got a few plans. Now it's time for the RIXX eye-catching moment, Pig. So let's get our RIXXies on. A reminder that the RIXX end of financial year sale is still on. This will be your last chance. I think it runs for maybe another week, but there's some great deals, up to 50% off and free express shipping. And remember, use the discount code ACES and you'll get another 5% on top of the 50 just while the sale's on. It's 20% when there's no sale. All right. What's caught your eye this week, Pig? Do you mind if I go first?
You go first, mate.
I'll tell you what's caught my eye. It's a bit of a random one. I'm about to sneeze here, so I've just got to wait for that little, the sneezing. It's going. You know when you're about to sneeze? Yeah, it's coming.
You want it to come too.
Yeah. Well, it's like I reckon it's an orgasm.
It's an orgasm or something.
Yeah. Well, it can go with, sometimes you need
8 of them.
You need... Well, that's what you want. I only get 2. I get 2 8s.
How'd you?
All right. So what caught my eye this week was actually the Gatorade shower. And I think the D's were one. I find it's very different at every club, and I can relate to this. I know when I was at Freo, my first game, first win, it was a full-blown Gatorade shower, and you are in the middle for the whole song. Got to the Giants, they all just soak you, and then they pull you out of the middle and link you in to the circle. So I want to know what your thoughts are on the Gatorade shower. I tend to think that I like it when they just stay in the middle. It's a bit weird, but you only do it once in your life unless it's a milestone game, and you have to win, don't you? So it's I don't know if I feel great about pulling them out and into the into the circle, because then they lose the limelight. I reckon it's funnier when you're spraying Gatorade in their eyes.
Yeah, so I'm going to go the other way on this one, because I was always one of the blokes all right, he's been doused in Gatorade, he's smashed with water, blokes hit him in the eyes, down the back of the jumper, and then just, all right, you've given him 30 seconds and then you pull him out and let him sing the song with the boys. So I'm more inclined to, I'm happy with it like that. I think there needs to be a little bit of a Gatorade shower, but I remember I was in there with Paddy Ryder, and we were there for the whole song, and I remember feeling a bit embarrassed being there for the whole song. So yeah, I know, and that's part of it. And
that's what I mean. I mean, it's embarrassing. It's a bit like your first footy trip or boat party at Freo used to have. You got to do an extra 1,000 skulls. Like, I just feel like I understand that. It is very awkward. I was lucky Garrett Gibson played his 100th or 150th or whatever it was. So I had someone to kind of cuddle in the middle. But one-on-one, when you're on your own, it's very awkward. But that's why it's kind of funny, right? You only have one of them, and you walk out and you're drenched and you've got Gatorade everywhere, and that's why it's special.
Yeah, you don't know what reaction to do in the middle. It's like when you get a strike in bowling, you don't know how to look on the way back. It's awkward.
And it's a special moment. You only get it once. It's not like you're back in there again. I find it strange that everyone's got a different thing, and I just picked up on it on the weekend. It was an eye-catching thing.
Yeah, well, I guess it's everyone has a different view on it. I don't mind.
What do they do at the local footy club? If a young bloke's playing at the Colts, do they soak him?
Funny. So there was a guy Sunday.
2 days ago.
Jeez, I'm nowhere. Pitch. We had a young guy playing in his second game and we lost the week before. So same thing, got a little bit of water. I don't think we can afford too much Gatorade down at the Ports Colts. We're not a professional organisation. So he only got a little bit and then he got pulled out. Not off.
You got me with a little future. It is sticking. We're going to have to run that segment. So yeah, they pulled him. They pulled him off.
Yeah, they pulled him out. Jesus Christ.
Oh, you know what I meant.
I'll go.
That's anyway, there you go. I'd love to know. Actually, write in. You got the question segment. Write in what your local footy club is doing with the first gamers and the milestone wins. Are they getting soaked and staying in the middle, or are they getting dragged back out and singing the song with the boys or girls? Let us know.
I'll clean this up a bit for us now. My RIXX eye-catching moment was the breast cancer game. It was Melbourne versus North on the weekend, and I thought it was great. The boys had a breast cancer survivor on their jumpers all week at training and the games. And loved it. And we had people that have I think everyone knows someone that's been through it, through breast cancer and how the impacts it can have on families and friends. But I love what they did. I thought they could have done a little bit better with the jumper. I reckon on the pink socks was great, the pink around the ground, and having people survivors and going on the ground before the game. I think they were on at half time as well. Thought that was awesome. Creating a bit more awareness for a great cause. But I think they could. Everything that's usually red on that Melbourne jumper for one game, pink.
Oh yeah, I love it. It's a bit like the Glenn McGrath day, or obviously the foundation, but the ball goes pink and everyone's in pink and the crowd's pink. You're right. I reckon they might do that next year.
I think and think about how many little girls and maybe some boys that would want the pink jumper. I don't think it would be cool. A lot of, I assume, the majority of the younger female supporters who go, I want one of the Melbourne's pink jumpers, and that's and it's all about money these days, Tommy. I'm sure that'd sell really well. It'd be good for seeing it in the stands, a little bit more colour. And it was my eye-catching moment. It was a very positive weekend. I just hope they do it a little bit better with the jumper next year, but and because it'll look great. But they did it so well. I thought it was pretty heartwarming to see. People's names on the boys' jumpers during the week and on the weekend. So, well done to Melbourne. I think even someone, I can't remember who it was, someone from Melbourne wore one of the North players' mum's names on the jumper.
Oh, that's mad.
Yeah, that was cool. Should have got that stat before I went on, but that was well done.
North, correct me if it's the CEO or the chairman, but she just recently, she did a story anyway. I think she might have been diagnosed with breast cancer, and it was it was quite moving, her interview. And, obviously North were playing the Ds, and it was that kind of game. So, it's everywhere. And she spoke about her stuff. But, mate, well said. And I think, I think other teams should probably do it as well. I don't know how it works. I don't know, but seeing every team get behind their own causes. We saw Carlton get behind their respects, and they had all orange on. It does look great. And I think I reckon young kids, it educates them when you change the jersey colour. It's only a little thing, but sometimes it's a lot of information. But if you just say, hey mummy, hey daddy, why is the jersey colour pink? Or why is it orange? It's a good talking point, and I reckon it's a good starting point for them to be more aware, and obviously everyone else. But well, there you go, mate. A couple of different ones, but well said, and well done to the Ds and everyone else that got involved. It's awesome. So there you go, RIXX eye-catching moment. We'll take them off, and we'll continue with our show, and we'll get straight into this week's games. I think it's time to get to some of our thoughts for this week's games, and then we lock them in and get to our KPI Stop That, and then we're out of here.
Yeah, we'll get in and out of these. No more buys. Well, it looks of things. No.
Before you start, Thursday night footy, are we going to make it a stop that to the AFL and not play? Can we bring?
Has to be.
Can they bring it back, because it's done? Is the schedule done for the year? So we are starved of Thursday night. We do our show.
Are you kidding?
Thursday night footy's done. We got State of Origin this week, which is good on a Wednesday night. But Thursday night, I'm starting to scratch me plums a little bit. I don't know what to do. I used to love sitting back watching the footy on a Thursday.
I'm heartbroken by that. I reckon they have to just. Mate, I'm nearly like Thursday, Friday, all the way to Monday. Like, what else? Because some days you're just like, what am I going to watch tonight? There's
nothing 8 o'clock at night.
Nothing on TV.
Nah.
Oh, anyway, that's annoying. So Friday night we've got the Lions versus my D's, and it's up at the Gabba. I tell you what I won't be doing for the first time this year. I can't tip the D's.
No.
What I will do, I think my little special for this is Bailey. He always gets a hold of the D's. I reckon he kicks too. And, with Rivers out of the back line now, going in a bit more midfield, maybe there's a little bit less depth back there. And those small forwards always seem to go well. Maisie will go to Joey. Tomo or reliever will go to Hipwood. So I'm not too concerned about them. But McCarthy.
I like what you just said. It's exactly why I'm leaning all Charlie Cameron. I think Charlie Cameron's he's down. He's down on his numbers. He's not kicking that many goals. But I like what I saw last week. I feel like it was a bit of a confidence booster for him. He used to play at Adelaide, so I knew that he loved Adelaide. And I reckon, as you know, there's a lot of things that happen with the forwards. You have one good week and then it kind of gets them going. And Brizzy are flying. I expect Brisbane to win easily. I expect Brisbane to have a lot of inside 50s, and I expect Maisie to be on Joey a lot of the time and the ball on the ground. And I feel like Charlie Cameron might be the player that goes, well, we've got the best matchup this week. Let's put Charlie and whoever it is. I mean, it normally would be you, but I'm telling you now, you're asked to be twitching if you're one-on-one with Charlie at the Gabba and they got 60-plus entries. So
the small forward's going to get a lot of looks.
So Charlie Cameron, I'm going to be looking for him. And I'll be nervous about Lachie Neale this week, only because of the Neil Bullen thing that Melbourne did 2 weeks ago. I'm not.
Yep, I wouldn't be betting on him, and I would not be betting on Clary.
Nah, I reckon you'd imagine Dunks would go to him in contest. Viney would have to do something. I mean,
very tagged sometimes. I feel like he's done it before.
McCluggage is the one that got tagged last week. So you know what? For me, McCluggage,
they'll tag Neil.
McCluggage over. It's all about Charlie Cameron. I'd be leaning to 2 or 3, and then Brizzy. I think Brisbane smack him, but I'd be staying away from the head-to-heads because there's no value. So that's kind of what I expect. And your man Rivers, he was good last week. He might be the floating mid that no one goes to. Or does he tag?
No, he won't tag.
They put him on Neil last time, I think.
Yeah, no, they're not putting him there. They'll play him a bit more midfield again because he was very good.
The only reason I say that because I was at Lockie's 250th and I remember him getting tagged and they're like, I'm positive Rivers went to him.
Wouldn't have went to him, surely.
I'm positive.
Anyway, we'll move on. We've got to get through these games. North versus the Dogs at Marvel on Saturday. For this, obviously, I'm going to tip the Dogs after a bye. I like Ugle Hagen for a couple. If he's playing, I assume he's playing.
He'd be playing.
And I like Sheasel for a goal. He's been playing forward. I think he's still paying $1.80 or something for a goal. Maybe even
he's kicked 4 in the last 2 weeks.
I know. He's kicked 1, 2, and 1 or something. So I think there's a little bit of juice there, and how classy he is. So they're my 2 tips, mate. And obviously, I think Dogs are going to win. What about you?
I like Larky this week. I mean, he's got a. I reckon he'll kick 3, and I think the Dogs will win. And then if I go on side, I mean, just load up on Adam Treloar for most disposals. You'd think they're going to tag the Bont.
Yeah, they will.
The Bont will probably get off the chart and then he'll be quiet 1 quarter so he won't accumulate massive numbers. He'll have good impact. But Adam Treloar, most disposals. Take Larky for 3, algorithm boost it up, and take Dogs 1 to 39. You think it'd be a contest? Maybe not 1 to 39. Maybe just take the result. But that's how I expect the game to go.
Yeah.
But I hope it's close. And I hope North, you win more games as the season goes. I've shattered that you couldn't get the last 2, but it's essentially a win. If you are a fan of the game, that is a winning performance. That is what we want to see as fans of the game.
Yep.
They played a great brand of footy. They had a moment of, second quarter, they let the D's kick 5, but then they kicked 5 and had no scores against in the last. So they are on the right track.
For sure. They're going well. All right, so Sydney at home versus Freo. Your mob. Mate, Sydney are they're the team.
Can't bet against them. Can't tip against them
at the moment. I'm gonna stick with, and he's been pretty up and down, this bloke, but at $4 last week, and he had a shot and he missed. I'm going 5 goal again. I'm assuming the odds aren't out. I don't think so. I'm just getting him for a goal. I'm leaving the rest out of it. I think Sydney will dominate up at home. You could put Warner in for 3 or 30. He's a freak, but I'm just going Sydney, and I just think at the odds, 5 gets up and kicks a goal. They're going to play him a bit more forward again.
Yeah, okay. I can't confidently do that, but I like it. He has had a shot on goal. I'm looking forward to this game. Probably game of the round for me in terms of midfield. You got an amazing midfield and ruck combo from both sides. Alex Pearce, wrist, big fella, the big moose, thinking of you. Bit of a serious one, we think. Don't know what yet. I haven't heard, but it was like a 1 week or 6 to 8 weeks. So that's not great news. I think Brennan Cox might be around the corner, which is great for Freo. But he'll be the big fella be unders, you'd imagine, coming in off I think he had an extended time because of his hammy tendon. But yeah, what's this?
We've got an update on Alex Pearce. Follow-up scans, minor fracture in the forearm, 3 to 4 weeks.
Okay.
And Fife is paying $475 for a goal.
Okay.
$475.
There you go. $475 and Moose is out for 3 to 4. So Logan McDonald's been quiet. I reckon he'd be one I'm going to lean in this game. And Marty's had his big bag come down to earth a little bit. But I reckon, I just think Freo are lacking a few big tools if Moose is out. And Logan's been a bit quiet. So I reckon he might be 2 or 3. And inside, I'll probably go Sarong 30. And Amos has cost me a bit. So I'll take him for 2. He's been very poor the last couple of weeks in front of the stick. So
Sunday special cost us as well.
Yeah. So he's one of those guys. But this game's hard. I wouldn't be. I'm just going to watch this game to be honest. I don't think I'll be having much on it.
Yeah. All right. The Suns versus the Pies up there. People First Stadium.
Even Dimmer got that wrong. Didn't he? Have you seen the presser?
Nah.
Big clanger. He was talking about is it heritage, and the whole time he was like, people's first. And I think he owed it to him, so he just kept saying people's first. Then when he walked off, he cooked himself. He goes, can't believe I said that. And the head coach not getting the...
You got to get the sponsor wrong.
I mean, you can't get the sponsors wrong, but I guess first year you can let him off the hook.
I reckon this is the odds suggest it's going to be a good game. They play well up there, the Suns.
Pendlebury and
Myercheck back. So I'm going to tip the Pies. And I have Schultz for 2. I think, he'd be a bit greasy up there. He was in good form before the bye. Kicked a bag of 5, I believe.
4 last game.
4. Got him for 2, which I assume will get $2 plus odds.
Myercheck normally kicks 2 every game.
I like Myercheck too, but I just think, big key forward.
I'm going to take Ainsworth for 1. Didn't kick one last week, I don't think. And I expect Noah Anderson to bounce back. He's very quiet. I think because you and I put him in our little Sunday special.
23, and I had him for 25.
Yeah, very stiff. So Anderson to fire up. And Collingwood, well, I don't know who's going to win. I'd leave that result. It's going to be a great game to watch. It's Saturday night.
Mate, you got to pick one now.
I'll probably lean Gold Coast because I like them at home. Just because I'm behind on the tips, I reckon everyone will go Collingwood.
All right, Adelaide versus GWS. Adelaide Oval. I'm going to go GWS.
Big game this. Both clubs need a win more than ever. Like Giants need to stay in the 8. And Adelaide, they are under heat.
They're 15th versus 6th.
SA's under heat, aren't they? They're not going too well this year, SA.
So I'm going GWS, and as again the odds suggest it's going to be a good game, but I've got GWS winning, and I reckon Toby has a pretty inconsistent year. I'm getting him for 3 goals. So I reckon big game for him.
Yeah, I like Hogan for 4 this week. I reckon if they're going to win I like what you're saying. One of them have to stand up this week. And with Cadman out last week, we don't know what the team's going to look like. But if they go with a similar forward line, you'd think Toby or Jesse would kick it back if they're going to win.
Yep.
Like, you know what? Don't skip over it. Tom Green. Tommy boy, if you're listening, he has to kick a goal this week. I reckon me and you should do another one of our multis, but we call it Chase the Ace, right? It's big chasing blokes that haven't kicked one. So Fife and Tom Green would be $10. They owe us. It's the Stewie Dew model. We should just put the Stewie Dew model and his head at the top. Tom Green, Nat Fife, and I reckon... Or you could
find a few more and we'll post it.
But they're the ones that we should add on. And Tommy Green, all the attention's on you for a goal, mate. And I reckon our punters will be looking at the value as well.
Love it. Saturday night, the Cats versus Essendon. Another good game, odds suggesting at the G. I'm going, after last week and the prior weeks, I just can't back this team. They're getting too easily scored against and they're not going well. And I'm going to back Essendon to win. I've got Peter Wright for 2 goals this week.
Like it. Peter Wright, nice. Okay. I don't like his matchup, but he's one of those guys that kicks 5 or none. What about the package last week? You were red hot on the package. You said 3. You should have said 5. But you're on fire, so well done. I'm going to tip the Dons 1-39 and Jezza for 3 again. Hawkins out, so you wonder what they do up forward. I really like a matchup up forward. I probably think Langford's due. I reckon I might take him for 3. So Jezza 3, Langford 3, Essendon 1-39.
I'd say that Colin Jasny, who's a real good defender, will go to him, Stringer or Langford. I'm not. Whoever's
as long as the Koenig doesn't go to him, because I reckon he's a gun.
Yeah.
Well, he played ruck last week, which was interesting.
Saints versus Port. Saints are favourites here. I'm tipping Port to win, and that is my bet. Port are winning.
Hang on, lock?
Not my lock, but I'm saying I'm not giving you any specials here. $2.10.
Yeah, I don't mind that.
So we'll breeze through it. So what do you got?
I like that as well. Move on.
You like that?
Oh, those games, anyone St Kilda's no scoring.
I've got Carlton are flying, second on the ladder, I believe.
Yeah, second and clear.
And I've got Kerno. He's kicking 5. Big game.
Yeah, Bolter goes to him. I mean, him or Mackay.
Filling the boots.
I've got a special, I reckon. I think it's Zach Williams 150th maybe this week, I think. So congratulations, Zach, if I'm correct. I'm pretty sure I am. And he didn't kick a goal last week, so I know you're saying 5 for Charlie. I reckon Zach will kick 2 or 3, but I'm going to lean 2. All right. You know when it's your milestone game, the boys look for you as well. And especially if they're up and about. And, Richmond with no Lynch, they just got smacked by Hawthorn off the bye. Could be a Carlton flying. It could be a big, big score against.
West Coast versus the Hawks over there at Optus Stadium. The great man, Harley Reid's back, and he's kicking 3. He's kicking 3.
What have he played in midfield, though?
He's kicking 3. They
do tag.
Juicy odds.
They tag.
Don't care.
Have you thought about that?
Backing him in.
You're a machine.
It's not my lock, but, I'll just think.
I like Oscar Allen. I think he kicked 2-4 last week. He had a good defender on him in Mackay. He comes up against, I think he's at Frosty this week. He's a good defender, but at home, they're playing good footy. Oscar Allen for 3. And possession-wise, I think I'll take Sicily for 20 or 25, or he's over. I think the ball might be down there a little bit more.
And we'll get into it straight away, straight off the tips. Yep. Have you got your lock, our locks?
I've got $1.33 for you right now.
Oh, yep. Go, shoot.
Charlie Cameron, 1 goal, Brisbane win. $1.33. I reckon it's the best lock of the year.
That's not bad. Not bad.
And the best part about it? It is, well, it's not the best, but it's the first game of the round. So it's Friday night, and I will have I'll have a great weekend ahead of me, or I'll have a painful one. But I think that's the game. That or the Carlton game I was leaning, and I'm going to go with Brisbane at home, head-to-head, $1.11. Charlie Cameron, 1 goal, takes to 133.
I have Port Adelaide plus 20.5 against the Saints is $1.31. I'm just taking that.
It's a nervous watch. That is, out of all things, you're going to take Port off the back of last week's 75-point loss at home on a 20-year reunion in front of their past players in their retro jersey.
I've got to be careful here because the North thing went viral last time. I just think
that juice you made me. That one's coming your way if Port don't
20.5. I'm not reneging on it. I'm sticking to my guns. Plus 20.5. They're going to bounce back. Big Kenny will get them moving.
This is in Melbourne, yeah?
It's in Melbourne.
See, this is what makes my week. This is what makes my weekend, because I wasn't going to watch that game with any kind of intent. Now I'm going to be glued to it. What time's that game on? Is it Sunday shift?
1:10 Sunday.
Oh, the buddy boys will be tired, waking up, travel.
Oh, what's Adelaide, mate? It's driving a car here.
Okay, we'll lock it in. Can you put the bet on now? Put it through.
Yeah, I'll put it through. And you hold on, we'll get straight into it then.
Oh, right, straight to the KPI Construction. Stop that.
I'll
Here we
lock
go.
that in now.
Lock it in. Do I have a KPI Construction? Stop that. There you go. Our locks are in. Our tips are in. We're going for Tommy Green for some value there. You're going for Fifey. We'll check that out next week. A few little tips there. You like Port to win, so why not take him at the line plus 20? Yeah, righto. Time for our KPI Construction. Stop that. And this is a stop that to a lot of people that own cafes. I'm finding myself when I order breakfast in particular, and I have my eggs, and when I get my eggs on toast, I'm finding the outside's toast, the inside's bread. Pig. if you go to a cafe, you're paying 14 plus for an egg and a couple of eggs, you know, on toast. You could do it at home for $2, but you know what? You're lazy and you want the experience. You want the latte or whatever your coffee choice is next to it.
Eggs.
You don't want watery eggs in the middle of your toast, and then when you lift your eggs up, the bread's soft as butter. I want a hard, crispy bit of toast when I order toast with 2 eggs. I'm just finding it, and it's a trend. You tell me, if you go to a cafe on the weekend, you know, with your dal or with your mates, whatever, and you just look at the bread. I reckon they're getting lazy with the toasters. They're pumping them on. I used to have it about 3.5. They're turning them down to 2. I reckon they need to turn them back up. Like KPI Construction, stop that. Goes to all the cafe owners that are putting the bread in the toaster and pulling it out too early. I'm sick of having soggy bread. I want toast with me eggs.
I want to stay on the cafe theme here, mate. And it's funny you say that because I went to the cafe this morning and actually got some pretty averagely toasted bread or toasted toast. So I'm glad you brought it up.
What do you put in the toaster?
Well, I put about a 4 on the toaster.
Yeah, what do you put in toaster?
Toast. Bread. And my KPI Construction stopped that. And sticking on the cafe theme here, I know they're looking after the environment, but God, those paper straws have got to be the biggest downgrade ever. Oh. You can't get anything through them. They bend and crack, and then you got to get another one. At least give us a metal or a wood one if you want to look after reusable that way. Those paper ones are absolutely huge. And who gives the stuff? Put a plastic one in there. People are looking after the environment or whatever. Every time a jet takes off, it's about 1 billion straws get burnt. There you go. So figure that out. If you're gonna sit there and give me paper straws, and I can't suck me down a banana smoothie because it breaks down on me. But you're gonna take a jet off. You got to go up bigger if you're gonna look after the environment. So stop that. Cut the paper straws out. Give me a metal one or a wood one. It's absolutely huge.
Yeah, and especially if you're sucking down these smoothies you're giving me with the cabana sticks, you need a metal one for that. I love that. That is huge. I had banana smoothie, like giving it to the kids this morning, and they chew on it and all that, and then I'm like, I wonder why they're sitting there still going, and this thing, the smoothie's not going down. The straw just evaporates.
It just sits there and it gets bent, and then they chew on it, it gets soggy. You can't get anything through it. It's no good.
So
metal or wood or bamboo or something. I don't know what they do these days. I don't really care. I'm not exactly a greenie, I
kind of just figured that. It's very funny. It's good. It's good. Anyway, it's very good by you.
Gave me the Earits this morning, so I thought I'd put it on here, especially after the non-toasted toast.
Well, I'd love to know what everyone thinks of the toast and the straws. It definitely does you. But, mate, well done. Great show.
The greenies are going to come after me now.
You got the North fans.
The greenie's going to come after me. Don't be jumping on the next jet the next time you want to go on a holiday, because that burns the ozone layer more than a couple
or
of
driving around and running diesel or unleaded to the
electric vehicle.
The pig's going off to all the greenies. When are we voting next? I know the pig will be voting for. Well, that's all we've got this week. Plenty on the pod. Great work, Pig, as always. Thanks to everyone that tunes in. Continually write in, share our stuff with all your footy friends and footy fans. And we love how you're shaping this one. There's a lot of footy to go, and we're looking forward. I think we get a 12-week challenge come Granny Day. I think that's how it marries up if I look at it. So we just need to be correct for the rest of the year, and we're feeling it. We'll put up our specials as well, and thanks guys. We love you, and we'll see you next week. This episode is proudly sponsored by KPI Construction Services. When it comes to construction sites, reliability and efficiency are key. That's where KPI Construction Services shines. With a single call, KPI provides a range of essential services, which includes labour hire, crane hire, and traffic control. KPI is a progressive business with modern plant and equipment across all of their operating states. Focusing on innovation and to avoid the business drifting is always front of mind. We are proud to be aligned with and have such a reputable company partnering with the show. Aces, I know I always go on about the RIXXs, but I got huge news. We have all our styles and colours restocked on the website right now. Get online, grab some sunglasses at rixxeyewear.com.au right now and use our little discount code ACES if you want a 20% discount code on the house.